So, at this point in his journey, what do you admire most about Dr. Bensong?
I love his ability to put others before him. I feel like that's something that I'm learning from him in every moment. I love his use of words at the right time, or when he chooses, he's not a a passive person. I tend to be a little bit more passive in my life, and I love that he's a man of action, and he kind of teaches me those disciplines to say, okay, in this moment, it's okay to speak up. It's okay to sort of get in the way and disrupt what was about to happen, and there is going to be something. You're going to be rewarded for being assertive in this moment, and that's one of my favorite things about Ben.
What would you say logistically has been the most challenging scene this season so far?
I think just managing energy and time. I don't know if that counts as logistic, but it's yeah. I mean, logistically having to learn, figuring what time I have to wake up, what time I have to get to the gym, exactly how much caffeine I need to drink to pull me through until lunch, and then if I know that there's a stunt, I have to make room for stunts, and I shouldn't have that nacho cheese dip or that flan. I should eat something a little bit lighter so I don't feel it later, and then to know that, oh, okay, so, and then we're doing driving later at night. So just logistically balancing out all those things, because I'm not a person that has so much foresight. You know what I mean? I'm sort of like, okay, what's happening this right now, or what's happening tomorrow? We'll just kind of figure it out. But to have to force myself to plan accordingly has been. I guess logistically, that's been the most difficult.
Do you think that's the character rubbing off on you since the character has no control over what's happening tomorrow?
100%. I think that's why I understood the character so much. I'm so much like a jump without looking kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm cautious to some degree, where like I will read how crowded this place is going to be before or like just checking out temperature of a place that I'll go. But then I'll just figure it out once. I'll probably just need a sweater. And then you get there and you're like, okay, is there like a convenience store nearby where I can actually buy more layers? But
Uh-huh.
that's where I do understand Ben, just leap before looking.
I love it. I love it.
So,
What about emotionally?
emotionally difficult.
Yes.
Um, Having to understand emotions that I've never felt before. A lot of these emotions sort of exist in an imaginary place, and I might have seen it in movies, but I certainly am not going to fall into the trap of trying to mimic what has been done before. I just have to understand it for myself and understand it for Ben in this context and see how he would respond in this moment. And then you can only prepare so much for the day, right? And then you're there with your scene partner and you're in that environment. You're like, okay, in this scene, there are literal bombs being dropped on us, and we have to get out of here. And this actor is giving me something so specific. Okay, now let's abandon all my homework and just be present and let Ben take over. So I guess the preparation and the unknown has been kind of difficult, but it's also great knowing that every single time I've done the prep work and I've let go, the outcomes have been good, and that I've gotten past it, and I've had the right direction and the right producers on set to steer me a different way if I'm not there. So it's really been a journey of holding on to these fears and then always letting go in the moment.
Okay, so speaking of your scene partners, if you were trapped on a desert island with three other characters, so not the actors, from the Quantum League program, who would you want there and why?
I feel like Addison would do a really good job of motivating everyone to like get the F off this island, and that like because
Well, you're
maybe
assuming that's your goal.
us that's correct. That is, I guess, if this island is great,
It's
and
up to
then
you.
exactly, if it has all the resources and if it has enough things to eat and all that stuff and clean running water, you're right. It can be an island where we can just exist. So I do think she would be an asset both ways. Um, I think also. Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to say any characters because this might disparage others. But just, I guess, for Ben, it's for Ben,
Sure.
and Ian being Ben's best friend. I think they would just it would just be, and also it would just the laughs would keep on coming. It would we would be able to pass the time really well together too. So yeah.
I think you get one more.
Oh, three. Oh, I included myself in it. Um, And then of course I'll say Jen, because I really think Jen will keep us well protected, and it's
True.
also, nice to have like my sister there. She feels like my sister, in real life and on screen. So it'd be nice to just have the warmth and of somebody who reminds me of family. So
Excellent. The mid-season episode return, we are talking about radical selfishness. How would you describe your own personal life philosophy? Have you figured it out yet? Do you have like a catchy term for it yet? Because radical selfishness was a new one for me.
no catchy terms, but yeah, I definitely, I think in the last few years, I've definitely taken a page out of his book, Radical Selfishness, that he's writing, because you do have to look out for yourself in order to look out for others, right? You have to have a value system that you understand, so you can actually be able to explain that to other people. Hey, this might not be your thing, but this is what's worked for me. And and it's the old oxygen mask.
Yeah. On
It's
the
that
plane. Yep.
analogy. Yeah, no, totally. And I believe you have to, if you're not, and I'm a fairly new parent too, so like I realize that if I'm compromised in my day, and they're having a crap day, oh, if I'm not in a good place, it's just awful for everybody involved. But if I am able to control my emotions better than them, hopefully in that moment, and I can be like, okay, I'll put my stuff over here. Let me make space for this. Okay, oxygen mask. Okay, I took care of myself. Okay, good. Now I go to you. Okay, well, how can I help you? So in that sense, radical selfishness is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
No,
I have a highly specific question about the Nomads episode.
love it.
While you were in Egypt, how many times did you hear about the double crown of Egypt, and who's your favorite Egyptian god?
Double crown of Egypt?
Did you guys not do any of the tour stuff?
No,
Oh
it
no!
was fast. We were there 4 days and we were out. We had one day to sort of adjust
Uh-huh.
time-wise,
Yeah.
and we just shot 4 days and we left. In fact, I had to sneak a tour to say that I was in Egypt and I wasn't on just another movie set. The day that I was getting picked up, my flight was at 10. The museum opened at 8, and I was like, I ran. They had security on all exits because they didn't want us leaving the hotel. Just it's Cairo, who
Yeah.
knows? So I found an exit that they weren't at. I ran to this museum, which was right by the hotel. I found one of those tour guides that are outside, like just selling their tour
Yeah.
guideness. And I was like, hey, forget that family. Could you just give me show me? I have 40 minutes. Show me the most important things here and just run me through this. He's like, I got you. And then so he ran me through this museum. He's like, that sucks. You don't have to worry about that. That's in every single museum you can find. But what's special here is this tomb, is this, look at that embalming. And I was like, whoa. And then that was it. But that, as far as experiencing Egypt outside of shooting, those are the 40 minutes that I had. So I don't know the double crown.
Okay, well, you got to go back because you'll hear about it a lot. Well, wait, what's the most
Okay.
like fascinating thing on your 40-minute tour then?
How how young these pharaohs were.
Yes, yeah,
Like they
yeah.
were children. Like, and how are we to understand that that's our, I don't know, just like, and then just like, it's just so much gold, like so much gold. And like they did, their technology on embalming bodies was insane. Like some of those mummies, you can see like facial features very distinctly. And it's just really mind blowing how long ago this existed. And then there's like alien meteorite, like there's just like you etch this from the hardest rock on our planet. Like, what did you do? Like, I can't do that with any home tools I have. And of course, they're far more, yeah, intelligent than I am. But
I think it was more of a they had more manpower than you
they
do
had more
now.
manpower. They had a lot of
A
time.
lot of time, a lot of
Well,
people.
passing down information, like their life expectancy wasn't that long, but to be
Yeah.
able to pass down what happened, like the storytelling part of that is just wild. That's how they documented this as a thing, that okay, trial and error, embalming this body. Okay, it messed up this time, so this is what I'm going to do differently next time. Sorry, and what was the second part of your question?
Oh, it was who was your favorite Egyptian god? But if you didn't have time to do the whole,
Oh,
spiel, you would you'll have to go back
Anubis.
and pick one.
Anubis is crazy. Anubis just like looks crazy, and it's just
Yeah.
like it means for like destruction. I don't know. It's wild.
These are broader questions somehow.
Yeah.
um, what is the first film you saw in theaters that you were the impetus to going to? So not like your parents or your family dragged you along, but you're like, ooh, I want to see that.
I think it might have been Home Alone.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it might have been like it was right around that time when I started really getting excited about movies.
Uh-huh.
And you know, growing up, I grew up in this Korean church, and they would always call me Macaulay Culkin. Like they would call me like because I was like really pale, and I think I had like really like red lips, and I had like a kind of like a similar haircut, and I guess I was really expressive, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you're just like that Home Alone kid, like Macaulay Culkin." I'm like, I gotta go see this kid, and then I'm pretty sure I asked my parents to take me to that. I asked my mom to take me to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um, well, I mean, no offense. I don't know how much you feel you resemble Macaulay Culkin, but
so
what is
much.
the first time, if ever, that you actually felt yourself represented on screen?
When I saw two moments. First is when I saw Better Luck Tomorrow.
Hmm.
I thought this is wild. This is like just a cross section of people I feel like I know, and they're not. They're sort of just existing, but also in a space that I knew. Like they were doing the kind of things that folks who are a little older than me was doing, and they were worried about school. They were worried about graduating. They were worried about like the simple parts of life, but also just trying to be like cool about it in a way where it felt very insecure too. And I was like, whoa, that's just like almost, they're just kind of being normal. Of course, there was more going on there, but and then another time was when I saw John Cho in American Pie, because I felt like I felt like him. I felt like I was the MILF guy among my group of friends, because like that and my immediate circle of friends at that time felt like those kids partying, right? And then I would get known for saying the one funny thing because like I never spoke, but like I would say something funny and it would just get repeated, and I was like, and he just felt like a normal dude. He wasn't like excelling crazy in math. He wasn't kicking ass. He wasn't like he just felt like a normal. He could have been anybody. And that's when I felt like, wow, I could maybe do that.
That is maybe one of the most unique answers I've ever gotten to that
Really?
question. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I get it, but it's just a small moment, yet so
Yeah.
impactful.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then I saw him again, like it was like shortly after that. I saw him because I guess we grew up in the same town too, Glendale. So I saw him
Oh,
at the 24-hour fitness, and I was like, oh my God, you're my hero. You don't know, you're my hero. But yeah.
you and that hormoned up role of it.
Yeah. I was the perfect age for that movie too.
Yeah, no, I probably sound like a tiny bit too young, but I don't know if I related to him as much. But growing up, who was your favorite fictional character in a similar vein?
Oh wow. I really loved Marty McFly.
Ooh,
Yeah.
little precursor, little time travel
Oh
precursor.
my God, like I thought the idea of time travel was so cool, and he was such a fish out of water, and he was like he had no business being a hero, he had no business, and he felt like no hero at that time too. He wasn't muscle bound, he wasn't like, he just felt like somebody who was highly intuitive and sort of always chose to do the right thing, and is just a really really incredible world building around this character. And of course he takes off on a hoverboard and you're like, that's so cool. um yeah, I like that character a lot. I still do. But yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
also fashion icon and great musician. So what's not to like?
absolutely. Yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the season. I'm excited to see where it goes. And hopefully you get to go back to Egypt and like go, do a real trip and ask them about the crown.
I will
You'll get
double
it. You'll
crown.
get
Yeah.
it. You'll get
Okay.
tired of it real fast.
So nice
Anyway,
talking to you.
thank you so much. Have a good one.